IBNX Radio.
Yes! You are now entering the mind of Micadelic.
Where the depths make every ocean jealous.
And every star seems not so far.
Come on.
Settle in.
And get ready.
To be experienced.
All right. Yes. Welcome to Micadelic Mondays. It is now 7 o'clock, 7:01, and you are tuned into IBNXradio.com. This is Bo Micadelic, your host from Micadelic Mindset. It is 85 degrees outside in Norcross, which means it's humid. So watch yourself. Don't bump into anybody because it's too hot. But look where you're going. Enjoy yourselves while the heat is still here. Or while the warm weather is still here, I should say. But be good to each other. That sounds like an outro. Doesn't it? Sound like, be good to, like, what was I going to do anyway? Okay, I was going to be good. Okay, I'm not going to be good. I can't tell anybody to be good to each other because I'm belligerent to each and everybody. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you, everybody that shared the post on Facebook. Means a lot to me. I hear nothing in my headphones. Did you cut my headphones off? You didn't? All right, well, hold on. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, now I hear myself. Oh, damn. Sexy. Completely sexy. Shout out to Juice. Shout out to David, the engineers, and the extremely late motherfuckers. Just walked in.
Yeah, I hate when they be late.
I know. Yeah, and don't let David fool you. He was behind all of it. You know what? I don't even care to go into it. I appreciate you guys and thank you guys for what you do, and thank you guys for tuning in. It is now time for me to get into my shit. So I don't think, and yes, I did have 4 people planned on being here today. And, of course, I am alone in the studio because I apparently seem to be the only person that's not working on CP time, even though I love black people. I love you with a passion. It's just being on time. What is it about being on time that is so difficult with black people? And trust me, I know because I'm late for work every day, which is why I know, but this is my shit, and that's why I'm like, why aren't you on time for my shit? Because it's important to me. That's why I expect everybody to be on time when it comes to me. If I invite you to something, don't think that just because you are black, you can be late. And I'm going to be, okay, no, I understand. No, it's not going to be that way. I'm going to have issues. I'm going to be irritated. I'm going to be belligerent. And as soon as I get some drink in me, you're going to hear about it. But I'm going to be loving outside of that. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you, guys. So the main thing we're going to talk about today is something that has happened over the weekend, something in my home away from home, which is Atlanta Comedy Theater. See, Friday morning, Cat Williams was brought in on the Frank and Wanda show on V103. And originally they had set it up to where they were just going to talk to Red Grant, who was headlining the Atlanta Comedy Theater over the weekend. And when they brought Cat in for the Friday morning show, Wanda, and they explained it all, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but we're not going to play any of the footage that they had, but Wanda had gone out because Cat showed up at the radio station. Wanda went out to him and talked to him and asked him to be on the show. So in the doing of that, he eventually came to, and he went ahead and went on the show. and if for all of you who have seen it, they had a cordial back and forth, and then eventually it got to a point where Wanda was asking him. I don't know if Wanda felt intimidated or what, but she went in and started saying something about his hair, something about his clothes. And when you go at a professional comedian and somebody who is well known like Cat Williams, you have to expect a backlash. You have to expect him to come at you with blades, something that's gonna cut. And my whole thing after watching that was simply, don't dish it if you can't take it. And that's kind of what it got to, because Cat went in on her, and he went in on her. I don't think it was so raw to where they couldn't have laughed about it. They couldn't have saw some humor in it, or at least Christy's here. So finally, it's 7:06. Oh no, okay, all right, no, you're not late.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you coming though. Appreciate you finding a way. Yeah. Did your GPS say, all right, take this route, and then you'll be on time? No. Okay.
Yeah, I did. How did you know? You know my GPS?
Unbelievable.
Did you talk to Siri?
Me and Siri have an understanding.
Did she call you and tell you I was on my way?
Siri's like, don't expect her to be on time. And I was like, I wasn't anyway. Why would I? But yeah, we're talking about the Cat Williams. Have you seen all the
yes.
footage?
Oh my God, I saw
everything?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, Dwayne's here too. Everybody's on time. CP time.
Is there any other time? I mean, really?
Yeah, I mean, usually like people when they're hosts or when they're guests, they come in on time, or they're here a little earlier so we can get the mics and the headphones worked out. But
is that a thing?
That's not.
Is that important?
That's not how we're doing it here.
No me importe.
It's called Atlanta traffic, man.
Is that what it is? God forbid everybody leave earlier.
Yeah, right.
My girl up at 6:30.
Where they do that
we
at?
couldn't do that. No, my bad then. My bad. My bad for having it
don't
at 7.
get mad at us because you're white.
Who's that? Am I? No.
You were here on time, right?
No.
You were here on time, weren't you?
Bo's
I
not
have
white.
to.
Have you heard him rap?
No.
You heard Bo rap?
No,
You
I
like
have
Bo?
to.
That's
I
one of
have
my-
to now.
Bo is nice.
That's
Like,
one of them things.
what?
I've
Bo
heard
is
him
nice.
talk shit. I've heard him be misogynistic.
What? Me? In my raps?
No.
I've heard him
Never.
rap about being an asshole to people. That's as
Bo
much
can rhyme,
rapping.
Like, really, like on some lyrical.
What a white
I got-
person can
I
make
curse, Bo?
words rhyme with each other.
Yeah, you can say fuck, shit, all that shit. Bitch. Say bitch a lot, as a matter of fact.
No.
As long as you don't say it to or about me
Well,
or women,
I mean,
we're fine.
do it where it's justified. That's the
At
Okay.
your own
Where-
fucking risk.
Words.
She's gonna
Applicable.
cut you. She's gonna cut you. Just don't take it personal like Wanda did.
Oh!
Which is what we were
Throwing
talking about.
shots.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what we were talking about before you guys came in.
Fuck
The
Wanda
whole.
Smith, evil ass. Oh,
Wow.
I mean, it was.
Are there strong feelings about this?
yo.
For me, and ironically, Wellington Juku put up a little small video about it, and it brought me back into it because of the shit that happened with Mike Epps when his manager beat. And I shouldn't even say beat because it wasn't even a beat down. It was just a one punch, one kick thing that
No, I
happened
heard
to
somebody
LeVar
got
Walker.
knocked the fuck out. That's what I
No.
heard.
No,
He
he
wasn't.
wasn't. He didn't get knocked out. It was
Yeah,
just.
rumors circulate in comedy.
Well, I'm here to tell
Just
you I was
like
there.
Cat Williams
I was-
got
They interviewed
gunned
him.
down.
The news interviewed him and everything.
I mean, I was there and I saw it, and I was even reluctant to say anything because I didn't know the full story until Mike Epps came back out on the porch and he told LeVar to stop making videos of him. And I was like, LeVar, what is he talking about? He said, like that little video I did. I was like, no, there is no way that happened over that. not when a comedian goes in on people on a regular basis and then takes it personal when it comes on him.
And the stuff with what's his name? He passed. Rest in peace to Skull.
Oh, Skull,
like some money to go find him and all of that bullshit. Man, that was just.
Yeah, and I talked to Skull afterwards, and I knew he had something to do with it, and I knew just the vibe of what he was explaining to me. It just didn't seem right, didn't feel right, but I don't know. Anyway, but that we're not even that subject, but this subject about Cat Williams going on, Frank and Wanda morning show V103. When I watched it, I was like, okay, well, they were just going back and forth.
Absolutely.
I mean, just comedians going back and forth, joning on each other.
Absolutely.
And she started it.
Yep.
If I'm looking at it right, if I'm saying what I'm seeing, that this is all that there is to judge it on, she started the shit. She started it.
How she started? Tell the people what you saw, Bo.
Well, defending Tiffany Haddish was fine. I don't, whatever. But when she started going in on his hair and then went on his clothes, I mean, he had this energy like, yeah, if you fuck with me, I'm gonna come at you. I mean, he had that. And from what they were saying, that he didn't necessarily want to come on the show.
Right.
And she talked him on the show.
From what
Really?
I could tell, though, in watching.
I mean, they even said that this morning on the show.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know
So
that.
she, persuaded him to come on, and he was reluctant to come on, but when he did come on, he was like, all right, I'm here. Let's talk about whatever we're talking about, and I'm going to give you my Cat Williams perspective.
But he was being real cool about it. I think where it changed is when she asked him a question and then cut him off in the interview process. I mean, like when she started talking over him, cut him off in the middle of him answering the question. He was like, "Are you gonna let me finish? Like you asked me a question."
Yeah,
she kept talking over him, and then she was like, "Well, are you gonna finish the question?" He was like, "Well, shit, if you let me, then I'll finish answering the question."
And he was like, I guess you're a strong black woman, or
right?
something.
And that's where. And then when he said, "I think you like me," I think she was like, "Oh shit, you said that on the air. I'm about to get my ass beat when I get home." Because you just let everybody know that I'm flirting with you.
Yeah, and
like her whole demeanor changed after that, where it kind of went into defense/attack mode.
Well, let's keep it 100. Have you had any dealings with Wanda Smith?
Not directly.
Bo, have you had any run-ins with her?
No, I have not.
A lot of people have, and I haven't had too many dealings with her. But the little ones that I have had, she's not very nice.
Oh, there's no question about it. And I'll even tell you exactly what it is that I saw from it all. That, and not to get on women.
Yeah.
But the idea of throwing shit and then not being able to take it and then claiming you're the victim was perfect in this situation, because that's exactly what happened. She dished it out, he gave it back even harder, sliced her up, and then after the fact, there was an issue about the fact that he dished it out. So, and I wasn't there, which is, I mean, surprisingly, I'm usually there every Saturday night doing the midnight show.
I was on my way. I thought about going up there too.
Already? All right, we got to go to commercial right now, I guess, while we break. All right, we're going to go to commercial, but we're going to talk more about this when we get back. Bo Micadelic, this is Bo Micadelic on Micadelic Mindset. We'll be right back.
One thing that gives us comfort is knowing that someone is there when you need them. Well, at Pleasant Hills Insurance, that's our promise to our clients. Call 770-910-7460 today or visit our website at PleasantHillsInsurance.com for your free, no obligations quote on retirement and life insurance. Many of the large agencies have turned their back on the retired workforce. At Pleasant Hills Insurance, if others can't qualify you, very often we can. Pleasant Hills Insurance proudly provides options for preconditions. So call 770-910-7460 or visit PleasantHillsInsurance.com today for your free, no obligations quote on retirement and life insurance. Pleasant Hills Insurance. We're here when you need us.
You're listening to IBNX. IBNXradio.com. The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Hey, what's up? It's Jay-Z.
Hey, I'm Mariah Carey.
Hey, it's Katy Perry.
It's your boy T.I.P., man. Get in. It's your boy Sean Kingston.
What's up, y'all? I'm Beyonce.
This is Nicki Minaj, and I'm in the mix with
IBNX Radio.
You care, follow the history that wasn't there. Searched everywhere, but the further I stayed in the past got me nowhere. I found
See, with me, certain things come to mind from time to time. I tend to listen, blitzing been dear to me. You get too mad and play by play. I be descriptive about what's missing. Say I baptize you in these Christians for daylight, so I can flip it, I suppose, and I remind you what you chose. Listen, this ain't no Pippin, I perform different. Know the box, got my own system. Don't play no zone, cause I be flowing, shifting. Just know your role. Things get too damn deep, then I'm right here. Ain't no secret, I got love for your soul. If it ain't all love, don't bring that here.
To ride.
This is Bo Micadelic, Bobo Diablo, bringing you the freshest talk radio on IBNX.com. Stay tuned, because it only gets better from here. Yeah, we got to do some more drops because I said IBNX.com instead of IBNX Radio. So remind me, we're going to do some more shit. You know. All right. Anyway, all right, back to what we were talking about. We were talking about the whole Cat Williams, Wanda Smith thing, and really? Is that how? Really? We're gonna just that's how it is. That's how in the studio.
First
in the
time.
studio.
Virgins. Don't get mad at the
my God.
virgins. Don't get
Okay. All right. All right. Who won't be invited anymore? No.
Just like a white guy.
All right. We got Felix Jordan. We got Dwayne Jackson. And we got Christy Gaynell in the studio. And we are talking about the situation that happened on V103 Friday morning where Cat Williams was on the show and Wanda Smith had basically started to go in on him. I don't know if you guys know the situation, but go ahead and look it up on YouTube if you need to. And, and the strange thing is I watched today's morning show, too. And you would think that after Friday, she would have had some time to reflect and say, you know what? I'm a comedian. He got the best of me. That's all it was. Laugh that shit off and move the fuck on.
Bruh, it was like a therapy session. I was like, this is ridiculous. Are you a comic or not? I posted about it on Facebook. Doug Williams got the shit roasted out of him by Jamie Foxx. We never heard a word from him. He never cried. He never needed he needed to release himself. And I don't know why. He just took it, and it was rough, and he took it. But that's part of like what we do. Not saying that what she took was pleasant, but she does that to everybody.
And
that's what someone else said. That's what I think Keno was posting, or somebody said, that's karma.
Well, it's a lot of thin-skinned people. It reminds me of Azalea Banks, how she dishes it out, and as soon as she gets to walding out, she
couldn't take it.
Right.
She did the exact same thing, throwing little jabs that wouldn't work and then retreating.
That's her whole career. I know her more for that than her music. And that's just being honest. And I hear she makes good music.
I have never heard a song.
From what I hear, she makes good. I don't know.
I don't
know. But yeah, it's just that thin skin thing, man. People just.
But I don't think she felt like she was dishing it out. Like, I mean, the initial thing was she asked him, what did he make his kids for dinner? Like, what did he cook? And he went into this whole elaborate,
You can't use broccoli.
Was that initial?
That's where it started. She was like, what do you make for your kids to eat? And he's like, I have to make this because this one doesn't eat that and that one doesn't eat that. So I make like 2 lasagnas and wings. And then he goes, what do you cook your kids? And she said, broccoli.
He said, how hard is it to steam water? But was that how it started? Because even before that, she was talking about his hair and his jacket, right? That came after.
Yeah.
There's 2 things you'll never win against, and that's a baby mama and a crackhead. You will never win against those 2 in an argument. Ever.
Really?
Depends on how long you spend with a woman. I got good. My last relationship, I got good at arguing. I started beating her, and she was like,
I don't think that's the same as arguing. You mean with the words?
I started like,
I had nothing against it though. If you were talking about the other,
you got to be careful how you say I started beating her.
That was Chokefest 2012. That was Chokefest 2012.
I can win an argument. I just beat her and
argument end of over. Argument. Yeah, I won the argument every time. I just punch her.
Bitch, stay down.
You're encouraging.
No,
all right.
She's off.
But based on what they were saying Friday morning, Kat basically, they were joining each other, and then Kat went in a little heavier than she was able to reciprocate. So at the end of it, everybody was like, "Oh shit, he won. He won the joning. Oh, Kat, don't go in on Kat. Kat's got
issues.
Kat does have issues.
She's got issues.
But what this did was reveal Wanda's issues more than Kat's, because we know Kat's got issues. Kat kind of lost me when he was swinging on 17-year-olds and getting basically wrestled down.
Is this your child, ma'am?
Then he gets slammed. Yeah, he
yes.
Slammed and choked.
That's kind of when he lost me on the like. Okay, where is he gonna go? Whatever he says is kind of like. He's not altogether right mentally, but you can't take away anything that he's done, because he deserves all the credit for being somebody that has brought a lot of laughter into the world.
He's good.
So,
what was awesome though was the news broadcast about it. today? Did you guys anybody hear the news broadcast?
I mean, I
where
saw
they
the
were
show.
like, oh, comedian Cat Williams, who bragged about being a convicted felon, went in on Wanda Smith on her morning show.
I mean, was he
like,
convicted? I mean, he's
no,
probably one of them
you
guys
can't
that
be a
settles out of
felon
court.
without being convicted. Like,
He
that's
said
kind of by
he's never been
definition.
convicted of any of the crimes, and he never did any jail time.
No,
So-
he said,
oh,
I've
he
never
did
been
any
to prison. He
I've
said
only
there's a
done
difference between
time.
jail and prison.
Which I'm sure he has paid folks handsomely for all
To
that
make
he's
sure
done.
that happens.
Which, you know, I mean, it's a whatever thing. I mean, if he's not killing folks, if he's not doing, like, you know, obnoxiously obvious detrimental shit to society, then okay, whatever.
He's
Do
usually
your
getting into
thing.
fights,
Do your
isn't he?
thing.
But
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
I mean,
talking about the fact that the way the news like took from the story, not single father Cat Williams, not single parent provider, is like
it takes it upon
convicted
himself
felon.
to make 12 different meals for his 7 kids. Yeah, you didn't say
none of
anything
that.
about
None of
that.
that.
Pull a pistol on him, though? Come on.
And that's another.
That's
okay,
not what the
so
video
which
showed,
which brings me
according to the news.
to the reports of what happened Saturday night at the Atlanta Comedy Theater. Based on what I've heard, based on what I've read, and even from Wanda's mouth, she said that she went outside to greet some friends or bring them in, and Cat Williams pulled up with his bodyguard and went directly to her and said something along the lines of, I knew you would go viral messing with me, so to speak.
Right.
Now, I can see Cat doing that even in a playful manner. You know, just like, all right, you came at me, I came back at you, and now we're viral. But even if it was an aggressive way, let's look at how big, let's look at how big Cat is.
It was like,
Cat is
like,
a little dude.
kind of like saying you're welcome, because now your career's gonna blow up.
You would think that.
That's what I was saying.
Like, no such thing as
that
bad
makes sense.
publicity, kind of like, you know, maybe now you could sell out a show. I don't know.
From the Atlanta Comedy Theater.
Which would make sense if he was doing it like that. And I don't think Cat's so out of his mind to where he would like come up to her swinging at her, because he already won.
Yeah.
What would he have to prove
What would he have
from
to
that?
prove? Yeah. And then they said she went to the back to get people. Like, what's the back? That side door that we all go through?
Yeah, front door, which
Usually-
is basically the front. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know anybody
usually-
to come in the back.
No, there's usually comics standing out there, and somebody knocks on the door to let you in. So I don't.
Right.
Why would she need to go get anybody?
And reports that said that he ran into the grocery store, which is, you can only do that from the front.
From the front. And
Yeah,
so if he was, and why would he run? Why would he run?
Was the husband there during the exchange?
They said,
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, when
So why'd
yeah.
you wait? Like that's kind of a punk move. Why'd you wait so long?
So
Did you have to-
Okay, let me give you my take on the fact that any dude that pulls a gun on a 5'2" person
with a perm.
He
No,
said
not
he doesn't
according
have
to
a
him.
perm. Yeah, he said it is just 19 inches
19
without
inches
a perm.
long with
Okay.
no perm.
No perm. But even even that
I'm gonna have to get a ruler
5'2"
and show
skinny.
him how inches work, because if
But you just saw the dude get wrestled down not a year ago by a 17-year-old at a soccer.
Who didn't stretch? He didn't even stretch before he choked.
Yes, and it's like Cat's not beating anybody's ass, but he will talk about you,
Yes.
and he will destroy you like verbally, but he's not beating any ass. So if you're a dude and you're married to a large woman
with a wig,
and you
with headphones
I'm
attached.
sure
Don't
she's
forget
got
about the
an
headphones.
assortment of
that
wigs.
apparently you can't rub your fingers through. You can't rub your fingers.
Gnarled.
Gnarled.
Gnarled fingers.
Gnarled.
If you're a dude and you
Poor
can't,
Wanda. I
if
got
you,
your back, Wanda.
With-
I'm gonna
No,
defend
poor
you.
Wanda.
Wanda.
She threw the first stone.
she did, and threw a few of them.
Pretty heavy
If you're a
stuff.
dude and you have your sons with you, and you say, okay, maybe the bodyguard might have made a difference. I'll extend an olive branch with that. But let's
But my
say
thing is, what bodyguard is running into grocery stores if you're not pulling a gun?
Nobody's
maybe
running.
he picked Cat up and ran.
Come on, let's go.
We ain't ready.
Is that what he
ain't
pays
ready.
for?
Let's get you to safety, big guy.
Which is a flaw.
Pimp down.
Yes, I got you, pimp.
I am a boy, Damon.
Which tells you that the shit doesn't add up.
No.
It doesn't add up.
That pistol
So-
came out.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
And why would you pull a pistol on a little dude like that. If you that dude explains or showed himself that if you even have a pistol on you in that at a comedy club like that, bro. You are a beta male.
Maybe he's trolling. Maybe it wasn't. Today you just do crazy shit to get attention.
Come on, man. You brought your sons up there with you.
I haven't
come
even
on,
seen
man.
the full story.
And you got a pistol.
It fell out of his waist when he was running, and he picked it up. That's the only time Cat saw the pistol.
And why exactly are you running after
Exactly.
Cat?
You're not a
Why are
police
you running
officer.
after him with a pistol?
TJ Hooker. You're not running. Like,
that everybody
doesn't make
puts
sense.
it in the waistband though. Who still puts a gun in just the waistband?
Old,
in the waist.
old ass niggas.
Plexico Burris.
Right. With a fifth in the with a fifth in his back pocket.
He's ready to shoot himself.
So the Food Mart video showed that he did have a pistol in his waist. But
there was a video
show
on that?
him, yeah.
Okay.
But it didn't show him holding the pistol, but it did show that he had a pistol. And I think just showing that you have a pistol is a threat. Like it does. You don't have to pull a pistol out on people to.
That is so anti-gangster.
Well, no. If you just show me a pistol or you just flash it, I'm not gonna take off running. You got to point that shit at me for me to move. Like.
I imagine a lot has got to do for you to move.
So he probably flashed it off camera, and then when they started running, he put it down and started running after him.
But it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Based on the stories of what I'm hearing about it, it didn't make sense. And then after the fact, when I listened to the show Monday morning, and I listened to all of it for some type of for her to explain herself in how it was justified for that to happen. And she didn't justify it. She went in to blame Frank Ski for not stepping in or stopping it. And then she went on to say that she's not one of those type of people that goes back and forth. She's not one of those comedians.
A comedian?
I don't know. I think she got
Come
mad.
on.
Cat said he can cook better. You all hear all the shit he can cook? 2 types of lasagna.
That's what it
I think it really hit her.
He roasted her
versus broccoli.
She said broccoli.
He roasted her.
Where are you from?
And she
He even made the canned corn sound better than her broccoli. He sprinkled some Zatarain's on that shit.
She didn't even put au gratin on them. She just said broccoli, not broccoli au gratin, not broccoli
He didn't let her
stew,
finish.
just broccoli.
He didn't.
Yo,
he Kanye'd her though. He didn't let her finish.
Bless her
she was
heart.
gonna go into some other stuff.
Don't nobody like Wanda Smith. Don't nobody like Wanda Smith.
I mean, and it kind of makes me surprised that she's even in the position that, because I've never heard her be funny. I've never
From
heard
what
her
I understand,
be hilarious.
from what I'm understanding, back in the day, like I talked to people like the old Uptown, back when Hurricane had it.
Uh-huh.
Like she was from Florida and she was doing her thing, but we're talking like Def Jam era.
Okay.
But like she was the shit, and then she got on with the radio, and she's just kind of faded away from
withered.
Withered.
She got comfortable.
She got comfortable. Didn't do comedy anymore. So, but back in the day, she was. So I think she feels like she still has those chops. But me and you, all of us know that if you don't get on stage, those chops are gone.
But she gets on stage every week.
Yes, every week. But even more than
every
that,
week.
She's not funny. She's just mean.
But even that.
But I mean, if you're mean, that's your thing. Then be mean in that moment when you're getting roasted.
Funny to mean though.
And that's what she was trying to do, but he was just meaner.
Don't start shit and then claim the victim. And that's exactly what she did. She claimed victim.
She did.
After all the fact. And
where's my
we're
violin?
gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break real
something.
quick, but we're gonna talk about how women love to play the victim when we come back.
Absolutely.
Especially
Here we go.
women.
Yes, and we got 2 women. We got Alicia Coley coming in next, and Alicia and Christy will be able to try their desperate way
Damnedest.
of explaining how women don't all take victim roles. But here we go. All right, we're gonna take it. All right, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Life comes at us fast. One thing that gives us comfort is knowing that someone is there when you need them. Well, at Pleasant Hills Insurance, that's our promise to our clients. Call 770-910-7460 today or visit our website at pleasanthillsinsurance.com for your free, no obligations quote on retirement and life insurance. Many of the large agencies have turned their back on the retired workforce. At Pleasant Hills Insurance, if others can't qualify you, very often we can. Pleasant Hills Insurance proudly provides options for preconditions. So call 770-910-7460 or visit pleasanthillsinsurance.com today for your free, no obligations quote on retirement and life insurance. Pleasant Hills Insurance. We're here when you need us.
You're listening to IBNX. IBNXradio.com. The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music. Hey, what's up? It's Jay-Z.
Hey, I'm Mariah Carey.
Hey, it's Katy Perry.
It's your boy T.I.P., man. Get in. It's your boy Sean Kingston.
What's up, y'all? I'm Beyonce. This is Nicki Minaj, and I'm in the mix with
IBNX Radio.
For miles, water lets me go. Don't mind if you feeling like you fly me down. Slowly getting lost when you do not care. Sing it to the stars as you pull my hair. Love, but you forget about your low mood. I'ma wonder something make you feel good. Trouble in your body as a prelude. You don't need to tell me nothing, girl, just turn up the light. I might need a regulator when I go for the diet. The desire made you switch to your most primitive mind. No sin, no sin. Call it meditation when we both unravel within. Feel the calm before the storm as it's my tongue on your skin. In between your breathing, I can hit the drop of a pin. Washing on these sunrise. Bring your light up on me like the sunrise. Feel up on my tongue, you like a hot spice. All over my body like you want one. Rolling me like water on the seashore. Let me feel your body, I want you more. The tide is high. Got the river running by, the canyon below. I let my tongue travel to the end of the road. Until you reach the peak, I won't ever let go. No sin, no sin. Call it meditation when we both unravel within. Feel the calm before the storm as it's my tongue on your skin. In between your breathing, I can hit the drop of a pin.
This is Bo Micadelic, and you are listening to IBNXradio.com. Stay tuned. All right. Welcome back. This is Bo Micadelic, and this is Micadelic Mindset. And right now, we're talking about something interesting that's going on in the whole comedy world, because it happened right in our backyard in Atlanta, where Cat Williams was on the V103 morning show Friday, and he basically got the best of Wanda Smith, and Wanda Smith took it personal, like most women do.
Hey.
What,
don't do that.
Don't.
Well, you did say most. You didn't say all.
I wouldn't be.
Only speak the truth. Only truths.
I'm just saying. Don't throw shots and then claim victim.
That's the thing.
That's where we're going with this, because it exposed her. It exposed her in a way that she, if you're gonna throw shots at somebody, that's fine. And if somebody gets the best of you, be like, you know what? You got me.
Oh,
You got me. That's it.
Don't send your goons.
Yes, and it's goons. Goons are fumbling,
dropping the gun.
Yeah, fumbling guns like.
Isn't he like an R&B singer? He has like a band, right?
Right.
Yeah, he has a band and he makes music.
Does he have waves?
These chicks
That I don't. If you have matching waves like his wife.
Is it an automatic?
She has
or was
waves.
Was it a revolver? This is important. Was it
It's
a revolver?
probably a 38 Saturday night special. With tape around the end.
Throw it away.
Motherfucker, I'll kill you.
Motherfucker.
Spin it.
Throw it away on the roof.
If you don't stop shooting that little shit.
Right.
But what was he really gonna
Throw it
do?
in the
Like,
Chattahoochee.
what's the news report if he had used the gun? Cat Williams gunned down in front of Atlanta Comedy Theater
R&B
for
singer.
talking.
For joining on Via 103's Wanda Smith, and now her husband will be in jail forever. And was it worth it, Wanda?
Right.
Can
R&B singer slash
I'm
wife
still
of
gonna make my broccoli.
foils his own shooting.
My boiled Zataran filled broccoli.
Yeah, that was.
And it's amazing to me.
Who
Absolutely
who
amazing
starts with
to me.
broccoli?
Yo.
Would she entice you with broccoli as big as you are?
She knew
As
she.
big as I am?
Another shot. I didn't even take that shot.
As big as you are.
Ah.
You don't have this shit.
no,
Wait a
I'm
minute,
just
wait a minute.
saying.
I ain't gonna be the
Not
bitch
unless
over
it's
here.
wrapped in
He
cheese.
look like a healthy.
How the fuck
You
do
look-
you know I like to eat
You
a
look
lot?
like a healthy gentleman, and I would
Shit.
just you would never go for the broccoli.
All right, that's a
Bo's
little
vegan
extreme.
now, so
Are you
broccoli's his
vegan?
shit. That's his meat right
That's a little
there.
extreme.
No, Bo is.
I would never
Bo.
defend it like that.
Broccoli.
I would never.
Broccoli is
You're
the meat
vegan.
of
Not
vegans.
completely.
Oh, not
I've
completely.
been trying to cut it out. I'm trying to stay
hard,
alive, stay healthy, man.
I know that's right.
Yeah,
Shit.
I did for like a year. I had to.
Well, that's why you look fucking
I'm almost on 300 pounds, bro.
getting bones now.
Nah,
Bones
I'm
and
getting it
skin
back.
and
I'm like
skin and
230
bones.
right now. I'm good.
Everybody,
good.
let me go through my fucking process. Okay?
No, you good.
Go through your process, Dwayne. It's okay.
Get healthy.
Don't take offense to that because
Yeah.
it's all right.
Do what you
It's
gotta
I'm a
do,
real.
Dwayne,
I'm
for
a
you.
comic. I don't care about that shit.
He's a big fella, but he's adorable.
And he's
And
agile. He's
he's
agile.
lovable.
Agile.
He's nimble.
As soon as shots ring out, he's the first one gone. If he was at the Atlanta Comedy Theater, he'd have been
The quickest feet
Y'all
up.
gonna cat him right here on the show? Y'all just gonna full Cat Williamson right now?
The quickest fat feet in comedy.
to extend it.
Somebody's gonna get a gun pulled at him again this weekend. His wife's gonna come up to defend
My girlfriend's in
him.
the parking lot right now with a fucking
She got an AK-47.
AK-47. Shoot this whole fucking stick. You ain't gonna be talking about my.
But he is very funny. Dwayne Jackson is extremely funny, and I've
Extremely.
seen him a number of times to say that I'm a fan.
Thank you,
But
brother.
this is not. Well, fuck that. Don't. I'm not here to.
I appreciate it.
I'm not here
I
to
take it.
cater
You don't give
to
out
you.
much compliments.
I don't. I don't like people. Nor do I like the fact that everyone was late today. But we're gonna go past that. We're gonna move on to another. But we're
You
still
win
gonna
by
talk
default.
about this.
You win by default. You're white as fuck. That's the only reason.
I'm late everywhere, but I make it a point to
He's
be on
not
time to my
white.
shit.
He's like cream color. He's like cream.
Bo has there's a milkman
Who's
that
looking
checked
at me?
on him his whole life.
Yeah.
No, Bo's white.
There's a black milkman that checked on him. Hey, how you doing in school?
Right,
He
right.
late
Right.
his relative turn.
Where's your mom, man? Just tell her.
She been all right. Tell her, tell her Johnson said hello.
And see, and this is why he got the lights dim in here.
The funny
And-
shit is
so we
when
can't
you-
tell
no,
her.
no,
So he can't tell
They
you.
get the
No, the funny
shade.
shit is
He has a
when you-
slight
when
hue.
you see the pictures when Bo was white and he looked like Val Kilmer. He looked like
Did you
Val
say
Kilmer.
from when he was white?
When he was
When he
white.
was white.
To Bo's credit, he does have bars. He was a rapper at
I
one
told
point.
him. I heard the
He
shit.
was a rapper at
I
one
actually
point.
downloaded
Yeah.
that song that you did in
Couple
did
years
for like
ago.
a benefit or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
It was,
What was the name of the group?
It was no group. It was just everybody
Bo?
was. Yeah, we were. No. I mean, when
The
I
group
used
was
to
called
rap
Back
back
in
in
the
the
day,
day,
Micah-
sociopath.
The people
Sociopath.
inside Micadelic's mind. That was the group.
Enter at your own risk.
Yeah.
That was the name. Nah, but back to what we were talking about on there. I appreciate you guys saying, but back to what we were saying about the Wanda Sykes.
No one knows who she is. See,
Wanda Smith. Yeah, I mean, but they do know because she was on a #1
Well,
radio
now they
show.
in Atlanta.
You know, yeah, she's big name. And if you can't take it, don't dish it. But even after 3 days from Friday morning when the shit happened, you had Friday night to think about it. You had Saturday to think about it. You had Saturday to talk about it. Like, yeah, Cat got me on stage, you know. Yeah. And then for that to happen with the husband thing, it's.
She probably consulted her.
David.
Yeah. She probably consulted her husband advisor on how should I handle this on Monday when I go back and
let's shoot the motherfucker.
Right.
That's what he said.
That's what I said. I don't even think it was real, to be honest. I think he was trolling. Because who does that? Who takes it to that extreme? Knowing who your wife is, knowing who you are.
It's 2018. Their mental is not the same as it used to be.
He married the WB frog. He's got some
Wow.
serious issues.
Wow.
She is pear-shaped. She has a
It's not even the shape. It's her fucking face. She's not a very attractive woman.
No, she's
It's
not.
almost like you don't
But
like
it's not.
her.
But he married her. I mean, that was your decision, pal.
See, he gonna make me see. You know, I ain't gonna say it.
Don't say it, Dwayne.
Say it.
What
Say
I
it.
will say is
Say it. God damn it. If you're gonna say it anytime, then say it now.
Say it again, big motherfucker. Yeah, all right, nigga. I'll blow your brains out.
Hey, if it's true, it's true. If you would have had thicker skin, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
No, I just think it's her
Seriously.
calling herself a comedian. It was a way that you could have finessed that and made a joke out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you got your ass handed to you, but what's the funny in it? You know what I'm saying? Find that funny, because I want to say this the right way, because she does call herself a comedian, but there is a point when you're calling yourself a comedian and you're in your role as a radio host, and are you doing both at the time? And are you an adult? You know what I'm saying? Learn how to handle your situations, because you know who you're dealing with.
That's why you should have thrown some rules out the window dealing with Cat. You got to throw some of those rules out the window.
Yeah, every battle you ain't got to fight. Leave it alone and just do your interview. When you see somebody going left on your interview and you know you can't reel them back in, get the hell on.
Can't win against a crackhead, I'm telling you.
And you don't.
I
And there's a
gone in
rule.
on Monday and
What's
said,
the rule?
"Thanks, Kat, for taking us viral."
There is a rule to getting Joan, and you can call it the 8 Mile rule, or you can call it the Eminem rule. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but accept it and go in with them on yourself.
On yourself.
Take away their ammunition
Exactly.
by clowning on yourself. When he was talking about her jewelry, she said, "Yeah, actually, it's $3 jewelry,
That
and
she coulda
nobody
said
is
that.
sexier in $3 jewelry than me."
When
Right.
Cat
So,
comes
or,
out
you know-
looking like the shining example, it's a problem. It's a problem.
When Cat looks like
When
the
we're looking
epitome.
at Cat for advice on how to deal with yourself in a hectic
But
situation.
here's my thing.
Exactly.
I have seen her be so nasty to people.
Really, tell me
It's
about
usually
that.
those that can't
It's
handle it.
mean. Like, all right, I'll give you an example.
Just spit it out, Dwayne.
There's a comic from Philly. His name is Monroe Martin. You know Monroe Martin?
I don't.
Okay. His name is Monroe Martin. He was headlining at the.
She's from
Atlanta
Philly,
Comic.
y'all.
Yeah, every time she speaks, I feel like South Street.
Yo, son.
Siegel Street.
Young
That's
Bull.
New York.
Oh, is that okay? What do they say in Philly?
John
That John.
and Bull.
Bull, young Bull.
Jesus.
Yeah, this John
What
right
are you
here.
doing
like,
over there, huh?
So Monroe came down and he was headlining. Monroe does a lot of mainstream rooms. He didn't really know what to expect there, and he's a friend of Phenom. You remember Phenom?
Mm-hmm.
And I told Phenom this is what
hairdresser.
Atlanta Comedy Theater is. Uptown North, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right.
He was like, okay, so he came and he was struggling. He wasn't doing as well as he's used to doing, and I was explaining to him like these audiences is a little different. So he was struggling, and the host, I'm not gonna say the name.
You don't say the goddamn
Kiana Dancy.
name.
Kiana was
Okay.
in there. She was kind of in the other green room with her, telling her that I don't think he's very funny. But she recorded the shit while she was doing it, and then she put the shit on Instagram.
Wanda did that.
Wanda put it on her Instagram during the show.
Wow.
So,
But Keanu had no idea.
no.
Oh,
So then it's getting passed around the other green room. They're like, damn. She felt so embarrassed. I never seen Keanu look like that.
oh, Keanu was like
She was
beside
visibly
herself.
embarrassed, and I was embarrassed because I'm hanging out with him and we going out to dinner. He trying to shake that bullshit off.
That's
'Cause he
dirty
got
macking right there. That's dirty mac.
for no reason.
And
And then when she did the landing, oh my god. Oh.
what did she do? Are you telling me something different? That's a different story.
Yes.
Oh, what?
Shit,
man,
Landon. I don't want to not do it justice, but they had us come up there for this daytime event one time, where they were doing a live broadcast, and they were bringing us out to perform.
V103.
V103.
Okay.
And she was hosting, and she was bringing us out, and then she was going through each one of our set while we were talking to the audience. So she would stop you and then go through your jokes.
Why?
And it was the most awkward, stupid, and it was really bad with Landon. And he had like people watching from his hometown because they did a live stream, and it was crazy. And she was like, I don't think you're funny at all. You need to change this. This shit's stupid. While you were on stage.
Wow.
Like, we on stage, and she's like, stop. Fuck that. That joke, you need to nigga that shit up. You need to put this in there. I'm like,
She said that?
Yes.
Nigga it up.
Yes, because you know my Martin Luther King joke? She was
Yeah.
like, why is he so nice? He needs to curse more, nigga that shit up, make it more hood.
Why?
I was like, bitch, I'm not performing for just you and your fucking Zatarans.
Right. And that's why you're stuck right here with the niggas.
That's what I'm saying. But it was just no class, and then you see her treat other people like that, and I stopped going up there on Saturdays just because I didn't
You weren't getting anything out of it.
You didn't want to nigga your
because I
shit
know
up.
I'm not going to back down from her, and I'm like, why even bother?
I just want to know where the video is from Saturday. Nobody had a cell phone Saturday when her husband came up there?
Yes.
Nobody?
There's
Is there
recordings.
video?
Yeah, there's videos.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
the
they
video.
waiting to sell it to TMZ.
Well, it was on out front, right? I mean, so.
There was people
Oh,
out
you
there.
saw it and
I
they
haven't seen
videotaped
it,
it?
but when I did the 1 a.m. show.
Isn't there usually a police officer on the weekends? out
That's
there?
what I thought. Like, where was the cop
That's the
at
cop
this
that
time?
ran into the Food Depot.
What do you mean? He
Oh,
left
he
for a
was
second.
scared?
Like,
He ran into Food Depot. He chased the cat into Food Depot. Oh. According to the police report. And then he ran in there and took Cat's statement with his bodyguard in Food Depot.
Oh.
Yo, this
okay.
dude's
I'm
a
like,
clown.
nobody goes into fucking Food
This
Depot.
dude's a
Right.
clown.
You got to be scared for your life.
Dude, if you're listening on the jail radio, you're a clown.
For real.
Yeah, I just think the whole thing was pointless and stupid, and for her to be an adult with grown kids, it just was not necessary. Like,
All she had to do was back off. It was her ego that would not let him win. She had to have the last word.
Right.
Every time he talked, she'd say something else, and she'd say something else, because your hair.
Right.
And when you talk about a dude, going to jail, I mean that's some real personal.
tried to dig at
to a dude,
She tried to dig.
especially a dude that went 19 times or whatever. I mean, I don't know how many times.
It's a different person.
I think he's a great comedian, but I'm not a fan. Like I said, he lost me with the fighting the child, the young dude shit, and then he lost me on that.
That shit was
But I'm not.
This shit is hilarious.
He sucker punched the child.
How do you feel about R. Kelly?
Huh?
So how do you feel about R. Kelly?
I mean, I love 12 play.
So I'm just saying, are you comfortable with men peeing on children, just not hitting them? Like, where
I
do we
don't
draw the
condone
line?
it. I would say don't pee on anybody, but I
did delete.
If they ask.
R. Kelly is a serial.
He's not in my playlist.
R. Kelly is a serial.
I can't listen to it.
He is.
I deleted some albums off the iTunes.
I don't. Just to think, man, like.
He's been telling us. It's not like he hasn't been telling us.
Supposedly, the new thing is supposedly he got his
Seems
14-year-old
like
niece
you're
pregnant.
ready.
Did you hear about that?
Age ain't nothing but a number.
Yeah, right.
Supposedly the new thing is
I
that he
don't
got his
see
14-year-old
nothing
Yeah, pregnant.
Exactly.
Yeah, his 14-year-old cousin pregnant or something like that.
in 2018.
Yeah.
By
And
him?
these are people that are just fed up.
Yeah, so
By
there was
him?
a new thing
Yes.
that just came out.
Brand new.
Wow.
Remember the
She's
guy that
pregnant by him?
or she was, or
If he
Was,
got her
was,
pregnant,
is, don't matter.
then
I'm sure if she
That's
is or
terrible.
was, he had.
Well, if the rumor came out, then he definitely put his thing in there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
So
shit
that's
did not-
where
terrible.
there's smoke.
Well, not
I didn't-
basically.
I didn't wanna
Not,
say
not
that.
based on the rumor, but it's pretty,
Rumors ain't that far
I mean,
from
we
the
can
truth.
understand.
But are we surprised though? I mean, this is R. Kelly. Somebody
Not saying
has
I understand.
a habitual
Thank you for
In
clearing
the
that up.
closet? In the closet?
We can understand that it was
underline
probably
everything.
true.
There's an
Right.
underline to
Yeah.
everything.
So yeah.
But a 14-year-old girl, like
Yes. why
Aaliyah
not?
was
Aaliyah
14. Like, where are we?
she was actually 15.
The girl on the video that
Not when he met
from
her.
the VHS days was what 14, 15.
I just think it's a sickness going around where men feel like they can't keep their hands to themselves. It's not all men.
It's
Really?
been. It's been.
Not all
This is
men.
okay,
But
all right.
now I will say
Let's
that
talk
it's-
about it.
Go ahead, let's talk about it.
It's been
It's
happening.
like that pedophilia is a problem.
Yeah.
Like it's a real problem where men should be able to control themselves and get somebody. What is wrong with your mental state that you feel like you have to deal with a child? Like what is that about? You can't deal with a woman that's your age, it's your your same maturity level. What's that?
That's exactly what it is.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about maturity level, that kind of would like even it out because a lot of women are mature at a younger age than men are. So
Okay.
that's not necessarily what you want to go
Okay,
with
well,
that argument.
don't tell me how to talk about now, but I understand what you're saying. So just say what you're gonna say.
What I am saying is that you want to at least let them develop and be fully
No,
developed.
I mean, no,
I
because
need you
no,
to
hold
continue
on.
with that
No,
sentence
no.
and don't stop it right
Wait
there.
until
Right,
they're
no,
legal.
because there's a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Legal.
Right, thank you. Because the steroids are making these girls develop early,
Exactly
and
where
they
I was-
coming right, like the chicken and the steroids and all that stuff. They're developing at 12.
Don't forget
that
the
doesn't
dick.
mean you
That's
start
not
fucking
that's
them
not
at
her
12.
doing.
I'm
What?
just.
I said the steroids and the food and the dick. Don't forget that because they're getting it at 12 and 11 and 10.
But that's what we're talking about.
Dick.
That's
They
the
are
problem.
having sex.
That's the pedophilia that we're talking about right now.
I don't encourage anything illegal on
No,
this show, so
absolutely
I'm not
not.
saying I'm not condoning any actions from illegal folks, especially when it comes to
Ask the Catholic
pedophilia.
Church. Ask the Catholic Church. We don't. I don't
Oh,
know.
boy.
But
That's a whole nother.
oh yeah.
that's-
I mean,
They're-
I'm just,
it's
that's what I just
rampant.
don't understand. Why is it so rampant? Like, why is it that you hear about these things? Now the Catholic Church, I'll separate that. I'm not saying that it's right at all. I will separate that because there is nowhere in the Bible that says preachers should not have sex. That they got to go and molest boys and little girls.
So
like,
you think all that pent up, can't have sex, can't do this, can't do that, stay in the house.
I just don't think
It's just
that that's
like, I
cool.
gotta fuck something.
I don't think that that's right. I think that they should be allowed. Sex was created by God. Like,
At the very least, they could have created a rule where they could fuck all the nuns. You know what I mean? Like, just like
All right,
the
fair
nuns
enough.
are all
you
my
are going against
wives,
nature.
and we can all have
I'm
sex
sure
with
it's
each
happened.
other instead of
To tell a
like
man he can't have sex.
them
is
feeling the
literally-
need to do the
Yeah.
little
Going against
parishioners.
nature.
men
building
love
up some shit.
sex. Yeah.
That's building
Yeah.
up an extreme amount of bad decisions.
Nut and
You know?
frustration.
Yeah, so I don't agree with that as well. And I was raised Roman Catholic, you
Right.
know, but you
ain't
know,
touch no kids.
He'll
That-
never.
No, I mean,
That we know of.
I
He'll
didn't.
never
I was
admit it.
raised Roman Catholic.
He'll
I
never
was,
admit
Wrong
it.
question to ask an altar.
Have
I
you
wasn't
been
even
touched
allowed
by
to
the? I mean,
Why
have
are you
you
turning-
been touched? Maybe that's
No.
why we're
Why are you
inside
turning
the
so
mind of
red?
Micadelic
like
right
I
now.
said, I've said this many times before. I was the only child that wasn't molested,
That's
and
what
I
they all
can't
say.
tell you how rejected that can make a child feel.
That's what they all say.
No, it's the only
Don't
child that-
internalize it, Bo. Don't internalize it. It's just-
No, I wasn't. I was outside
where's my
kicking
violin?
rocks and shit, and they were all, in there getting felt up. So I was dismissed. Then you wonder where
Right.
my whole
You can go.
issues come from. It comes from being
But it's not
rejected.
just
What
the
if somebody took
Catholics,
his little
it's-
baby balls?
Right.
You know, like when
His
somebody
baby
sends a
boy.
girl a
Right.
drink in the club, they're like, "Excuse me, Bo, move out the way."
You know what? Now
You
you
over there
can
with
you
the-
can wait
the blonde
outside.
hair.
Right.
You can go out. You
Oh,
can
that's
do
fucked
that.
up.
But not to get off subject, because
you
we
guys.
have gotten off subject, and I really do want to address this to where it's beaten into the ground
Okay.
about the whole oneness.
You really?
again?
That's the
Because
goal. Let's beat it into the
irritated.
ground.
What irritates me the most is what she did this morning. Because I don't know what happened Saturday, but I can see what happened Saturday night just by what has been explained to me from Zoo, from on video that Zoo Man did, and what she said Monday morning, this morning, and it was this. I don't want to take responsibility for what I did. I don't want to be accountable for my own actions. Frank, why didn't you cut it off? Why didn't you step in? Why didn't where is my backup? Where is somebody protect me? Why did this go down? Why didn't somebody save me and leave me with this?
Because that's what works today.
Everybody was too busy
The victim
laughing.
game works today. It doesn't matter who you are. You could have been the bully. All of a sudden, you've turned into the victim.
It's not just
You should
today,
know this
though.
one, though.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just today, and it throughout history, there are people who claim to be the victim and want some type of sympathy, even though they started the shit.
Right.
They perpetuated the scenario.
Barbecue
So,
turkey.
But comedy is supposed to be one of those things where it's no holds barred.
Exactly.
The more
There's no
somebody-
excuse for it in my
I mean,
treat
but
it
they're
like,
changing it. It's the pussification of comedy.
I mean, I remember growing up getting bagged on because my pants were too short. I'm tall as hell.
Anything.
You know what I mean? Like anything. You deal with it. You come back and you just deal with it.
Comedy's
Send
changing.
the
You
homie to
can't
go
talk
shooting.
about people who are fat, people who are transgender,
supposed to. It's
people who are
supposed- yeah.
gay. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. But they're changing. They're trying to change the rules, and she's trying to help them.
No, they've changed the rules. Everything that was good is bad, and vice versa. Like nothing. It's all backwards. Everything is backwards.
I still think.
Yeah, if you're not a woman trying to be a man, you're just not in vogue.
You're not in style and fashion.
Why would you want to be a woman? Like,
Why would you want to be a woman? Being a woman is awesome. I don't pay for shit.
When
No, I'm just kidding.
See, materialistically, that's the only advantage to being a woman. Getting free meals. That's fucked up.
Homeboy wants to be a man again.
I'll save that topic for another time.
Caitlyn Jenner?
Yeah, he wants to be a man again.
He wants to be Bruce again?
Yeah. I'm surprised I haven't heard
He
of
said,
it.
you know what? I fucked up.
It's
My bad. My bad, everybody. Okay, you can have this Woman of the Year shit back.
Right.
I'll take the being a man.
Did he cut it off? Did he cut the thing off?
I don't think he got that change.
I don't
He don't
think
got
he
the
got which is
change.
why he's having he wants to go back.
He wants to go back.
So does he have to get breast implants removed?
I wonder if that was his decision from the beginning though. I wonder if
I
that
think
was.
it was. It
I think
wasn't
he
just
just
because
wasn't-
he was married to the Kardashians.
whole
He just
thing,
wasn't
though, that
getting enough
whole thing
attention in
is-
the media.
That whole thing is weird.
I was reading something OJ said. OJ said he was always weird. He said,
OJ said that?
Yeah. He said,
OJ says it. Goddamn.
It gotta be
How
true.
bad do you have to be if
OJ tells
OJ's
the fucking truth. Besides
judging you
OJ
from
said
a
it,
character
besides killing and
perspective?
strangling people, he tells the truth.
Where is OJ? Did he finally
I
calm
think
down?
he's living his fucking best life somewhere.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him, he was in Vegas getting
living
harassed.
Yeah, he
With
was
two
like-
white girls.
Yeah, two. Dose.
He's good now.
Jesus.
Got his pension.
Got his
He still got
pension.
money?
Got away with murder.
He still got. He's got money.
He still did jail time for stealing his own shit. So I don't know how. Awesome.
It's how he did it. It's how he did it. He went in there with like 12 goons, like the old cartoon, with
can
the
we-
hat forward. And
Can we get back to the topic so we could beat it down and all of that, so we don't have to talk about it no more?
You weren't here for the first
'Cause-
20 minutes when we
Well,
was
he
talking
said he
about
wanted.
it.
He said he wanted to talk about this morning.
I mean, I do want to
Did
beat
you
it
get those
down,
shots in?
but I don't mind it going off the rails and going on to some other thing. I don't mind that because the good points are being made. But
Okay,
I
sorry.
mean, no, it's okay. And I didn't really know a lot about Wanda until I saw how this transpired. And what I know about her now
she's a fat loser.
She's a fat loser. No, I didn't say that. I didn't call her a loser. But I mean, what I do?
A fat one.
Waitest.
She-
You guys sound like haters.
She handled it like a loser.
She did handle it like a loser.
She handled it like a loser. And even Frank was just like, I don't know. And this morning on the show, he was like, I don't know what it is exactly that you expected from me because it was two comedians going at each other.
Right.
That's where he
I'm
was
not
wrong.
a comedian, he said. And I was just watching it go on, and at any point in time, you could have stopped it
Yep. Right.
and say, go to break, and don't put it on me. And I
Right.
feel for Frank. And I always thought Frank was corny. But I felt him in that moment that, don't put it on him. Don't look to be rescued when you were the one
who started the
who
shit.
did the shit. You wanted it. And there was a call in this morning that she was like, you brought it on yourself by one, asking him to be on the show. You went out there and begged him to be on the show.
Right.
He was on the show. And then you went took it upon yourself to say some shit about him while he was there. Do you not think Cat's
Right.
got no fucking angst about cutting somebody down?
He don't give a shit.
doesn't care.
Do you think that he has
He
not
punched a
gone
kid in the
through-
face.
Sucker punch.
That's what I'm
Sucker
saying.
punch.
He didn't like, I'm going to punch you. The kid was like, he's like, look over there. Wow.
And then got choked out.
Yes. Do you
And then
think?
he
I
doesn't
mean,
care.
as much of a.
Where's
I
your
mean,
mama?
I give him credit for all his accolades, for having as many stand-up specials, and he is a funny motherfucker. We all give him that credit.
Yeah.
Smart, too.
Very smart.
He's very smart, but he's been on some shit. He's been like chemically imbalanced often.
That shit on stage in Philly. When he was
What
rocking back
comedian
and forth.
isn't?
You seen that
Right.
shit?
I know I am.
He was hot. He was on stage. It was
But I'm
like,
not punching kids.
This is
When
when
he started, when the
walked
fight
off.
broke out.
Meek Mill's concert.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like on stage, like challenging the dude, like what?
I think I saw
Like
something like that.
rocking back and forth. And they was looking at him like, doesn't he know we about to kill this motherfucker?
Right.
I don't
They
know,
beat
man.
his
Not
ass.
to mention the
his
fact that
ass.
he said he's been touring for how many years? He deals with hecklers on a regular basis. Like, this is what he does nightly to audiences of thousands of people, Phillips Arena size audiences, and you're barely hosting like Atlanta Comedy Theater, if a
Right.
couple hundred people show up, how do you think that you're going to go a 1-to-1, toe-to-toe up against that level?
She did.
And that kind of goes to a point where I was making with, I've been on so many shows where I've been heckled by drunk people. I don't know, drunk people seem to love me.
You do
What town was
awesome.
that?
And I welcome it.
What town was that
I
we
like
were
it.
at and he ran up
It was
on
in Florida somewhere where I walked up to the dude and he was like, "Get the fuck away from me!" I was like, "All right, okay."
He was spitting on them both face. Both like, "Get the fuck away from me." That shit was hilarious.
I have a knack for
the crazies.
Yes, and I'm not even saying that I have not been taken. Like I have not won every time.
Right.
There is times where I have not won, but every time I go home from that show, I think to myself what I could have said, what I should have said, what would have transpired differently had I, worked it this way and this.
Right.
That's why I'm saying from Friday morning when the shit happened to Monday morning when she was back on the air after all that shit that happened, even with her husband, and she was still with the same viewpoint.
Still
and
with the shits.
How do you not have some self-reflection?
That's ego.
How do you not say, okay, you know what? This shit was jokes.
That's the Donald Trump effect.
Listen, when you brag
Like
about
that.
about
Donald Trump
unseasoned
effect.
broccoli, that's pretty much the outcome you're gonna get.
She was bland on that.
She was bland on the broccoli, bland on the comeback.
She's trying to impress Cat. It's like what happened with Jamie Foxx and Doug Williams. He probably could have held his own better, but he was Jamie Foxx and Doug Williams. So this is somebody I look up to.
I'm your
He can affect my
conscience.
career.
Yeah.
And you could tell he wasn't fully committed because even Monique was like, "Get him, like do something, defend yourself." And he's looking at.
But we've all been as comedians,
I
and
should
we're
stop
all
talking
comedians.
now.
We're all comedians, and
killed
we've
that, man.
all, as funny as we all are, we've all been in that moment where we come up blank.
Yeah.
We blank out.
Yep.
And I've been there, and
gotta bow out.
It's
I'm
not
gonna
fucking
regret this
fun.
whole
It's not.
set.
It's not enjoyable to be in that moment where you bow out.
But you self-reflect and you be like,
Yeah.
you know what? Next time.
I
Yeah,
admit
yeah.
And you don't send people with guns.
Like, yo, you got me.
Yep.
So she should have been in that situation where, like, or with the mindset that, you know what, he got me as Cat Williams, and laugh at yourself. If you take yourself so seriously that you can't laugh at yourself, then you should not be in a comedy realm.
I agree.
What do you think
And
about
that's
his
kinda
original
where
point?
she's at.
What do you think about his original point about the different women not being accepted and light women, dark women? Cat Williams.
Oh.
You think
Well, he said that on the
Oh, you
on
want
the
to
radio show?
talk about the actual stuff of value that he said before that happened?
He said that on the radio? Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
Tiffany Haddish.
Right, and
you
how
know,
40 women I put on that are darker and that don't get play and this, that, and the third.
No, I
Tiffany
can't.
Haddish isn't light skinned enough to play the color card.
And
I don't think.
I can't necessarily go there with him in the respect that there are plenty of people who have made it in comedy that are not that funny. And there's a slew of folks who are hilarious that have not made it yet.
I
That's
agree
in
with
all-
that.
that's in
15,
all
20
industries.
years. Yeah, so you can't necessarily say that. I think he had a personal grudge towards Tiffany, personally.
Well, he said
I love her,
like,
but
let's be real. Can
That's
anybody,
irrelevant.
No,
can anybody think
I know
of
what you
one
know.
Tiffany Haddish joke?
He did say that, and I could not think of one.
I
can.
can.
You
The fake implants, when she takes the fake implants out.
I don't know
I
that one, but you
can.
know what? I think about the
Her catchphrase is "She ready,"
That's not the.
and
that's
then
not
she
a
also
joke,
does
though.
the little joke where she
don't
jacks
know.
a guy off with her feet. Y'all never.
No,
seen
No, I
it?
just remember her shitting in her old
I thought that
boyfriend's
was your
shoe.
joke.
No, she does a
Which
joke
way
where
she-
she's like
Shit-
jacking
she
a guy off with her
shit it
feet.
in his shoe. Shit it in her old boyfriend's shoe. I remember that.
Oh, she's
Shit in his
classy.
Jordans.
So she's
That's-
Yeah,
classy.
I've
when
never-
She
she's-
got
never
that
heard any-
one,
but she's balling now. She's balling,
Yeah.
and
I liked it.
and
I liked it.
you know,
She sold her soul.
I mean, whether she did or not, she's got something.
Tomato,
like,
potato.
Tomato.
she's got something going for her right now.
Hey, man.
Which is
I
why-
wish the best
which is
for her.
cool.
Which
I
is
think
why
she's
Cat,
funny.
I mean, for Cat to do what he's done before in the past to knock down somebody else's success.
It's his
and then
delivery.
put himself on a pedestal with his own accomplishments. it takes away from his accomplishments.
Exactly.
But
I
again,
think the
he
problem
doesn't
is
care,
she
though.
didn't give him enough
Maybe
accolades
not.
for his role in her success, and he feels slighted. I think that's what.
You think that's what it is?
From
Because
his
he
perspe-
mentioned that the first movie she was ever in was the one he did with her, and it's gotten more like hits on YouTube.
It's just that clip.
Well, the
That
clip's
clip's gotten
that was
more.
harsh. I was like,
So
whoa,
like that,
that's
I think
personal.
when
Which
she
is
started
probably
really
true.
blowing up,
It's
she
true.
just didn't like say,
'Cause I've never
"I
seen
owe
the
my
movie.
success
Yeah,
to
but
Kat."
why say
And
it?
so he's like, all in his feelings.
I mean, why-
and
it's
stuff.
not-
But how
it's-
many times has he gave accolades to somebody that put him on? Come on.
Who put
That's
him
not
on?
how men
Well,
work.
yeah, he feels
Alicia.
like he feels like nobody's.
I said
put
that's
him
not
on.
how men work.
Yeah, that's what he
You're
said in
right.
the interview. He's like, I paid for everything. Everything's mine. So maybe he has the attitude of fuck everybody. I don't have to.
I
You
don't
know.
believe that either.
You can't make it that
Everybody
far in the
pulls you up.
industry
Somebody
without
pulls you up.
somebody helping.
Somebody
Of
you.
course.
Yeah.
If somebody
I'm
gave
like,
him
how you gonna
time-
attack? Oh, she didn't write the script. I'm like, how many movies have you been in where you didn't write the script? Like, you got to where you are because of the movies
Well, he
too.
probably wrote.
I'm
his
a
part.
boy, Damon.
He probably ad libbed his parts, just like she probably ad libbed some of her parts in Girls Trip.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
gotta be fair across the
it's-
board.
This thing, they pick who they pick. You know, like there's certain people that I wouldn't have picked from Atlanta that they're out there. There's certain people that I would pick, like a Carlos Miller. Like he was burning it down for years. We
Yeah.
knew he was great, and then you see somebody
It
like
just depends on what they're looking for. I mean,
I don't give a fuck. I say it. Like Dulce Sloan. That's shocking.
Wow.
fuck her. Her attitude sucks.
She's the same way, but
Yeah.
somebody picked her, and now she's on the Daily Show. And I don't hate her for it. I'm just like, I didn't expect to see out of the talent pool that we know in Atlanta.
Right.
We know that there's people that are better, like a Vanessa Fraction. Why isn't Vanessa Fraction on the Daily Show as opposed to
Right.
not looks or anything? I'm just saying, like as a talent.
As a
that's
talent,
Yeah,
as
she's
a
funny
putting
as
the
shit,
work
too.
in, yeah. But I mean, like you
Mia
said,
Jackson.
you don't never know. You never know who's going to get picked or why the
don't.
person is picked. Like they say, favor ain't fair. So get it when you can. Just that's what I say, and ride it till the wheels fall off.
But I think comedy is one of the few fields where it's not about necessarily how funny you are, how good you look, how attractive, how thin. It's just if you're in the right place at the right time and the right person happens to need you or see you, that might be your break.
What's the next evolution in comedy, though? We're seeing a drastic change from stage to internet to now. That seems to be primarily what they're looking for, no matter how
if
long
you got
you've
a
been
draw.
in the game. Right,
If you got a draw, if you're pulling people off the internet, then you got something to you to where you can pack out shows, no matter how good you are. And, you know, and I mean, I think the best thing to do is be consistent. You know, consistently go out, consistently put out videos. Consistency is key. And if you're consistent on a regular basis, then you have something to offer. And we're going to consistently go to a break right now. So here we go. Hey, Dave, we're going to go to a break right now. All right, we'll be right back. Micadelic Mindset, Mondays.
Listening to IBNX. IBNXradio.com. The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music. Hey, what's up? It's Jay-Z.
Hey, I'm Mariah Carey.
Hey, it's Katy Perry.
It's your boy T.I.P., man. Get in. It's your boy Sean Kingston.
What's up, y'all? I'm Beyonce. This is Nicki Minaj, and I'm in the mix with
IBNX Radio.
But if all this
This is Bo Micadelic from Micadelic Mindset on IBNXradio.com, and you got to stay tuned. You never know what you're going to hear next. Ha! Okay, all right, here we go. Welcome back to Micadelic Mindset. And we are going to open up the phone lines. We got the phone line is 678-688-4269, 678-688-4269. Call in when you can and chime in on what we've been talking about the whole time, which is basically the Wanda Smith and Cat Williams scenario that went down. And trust me, I don't understand it completely either, but I do know when someone can't take a joke, they deserve the joke. So it just matters as far as where you are on the spectrum. If you can't laugh at yourself, there's something wrong with you.
Speaking of being on the spectrum, where are you at on the spectrum?
Spectrum of laughing at myself?
No, autism.
Oh, I'm retarded. I'm special. I'm as special as they come. But we're gonna take some calls, and then I got a subject that I also want to jump into in a little bit. Do we have any callers? No callers? All right, well. They're going to come. It's going to happen.
Phone lines are hot.
Oh, we got all the listeners in the studio right now. Bless all your hearts. Oh, we do have a caller now. Okay. All right. Well,
it's your mama.
That's my mother. You guys take it easy on her. Now, I will shoot everybody in this motherfucker. If you say some mean shit to my mother.
Bo love his mom. You can tell on Facebook. She be like, love you.
She is so supportive. You would think that someone as belligerent as myself about women would have nobody kind.
Is your mom religious?
Who gave me birth.
His mom?
No, she's not
Once you acknowledge that you didn't get it from her, she was like,
she's not religious. But she used to be. I mean, we grew up, Roman Catholic, and she, brought me up in that. But we do have a caller on the line. Caller, what is your name, size, and weight, height?
Jesus, caller.
My weight and height.
No, I'm joking. You don't have to go ahead and give your weight. But I mean, if you want to, break it down.
Missing any teeth?
Hi. How are you guys doing? It's Racine. Hi.
Oh, hey, Racine. Another funny comedian.
Oh, hey, Racine. How are you? We've been.
Hey, Bo. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Dwayne.
Good. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Okay.
I was just, I've been going crazy with it because it's so funny. The situation is so funny. I mean, it's sad that her husband pulled out a gun and everything, but to see all the little aspects of Wanda's personality, 3 million people have seen her get roasted, have seen the whole situation, and then she gets on and plays a victim. That's too hilarious.
Exactly. I feel the same way. I agree. And then it wasn't even a point where he was getting her so bad that she was breaking down at the radio station. She was laughing along with it. Right. And that would have been the end of it. Yeah. Had she just been done with it.
The first few minutes of the interview this morning, but from what I heard her when she started comparing herself to Jesus being persecuted, and then comparing herself to Oprah and Beyonce. Exactly. I was like, okay, what the heck is going on?
So you don't commend the husband?
I have been reading lately. She sounds narcissistic because she does not want to apologize. She doesn't see anything wrong with what she did, and she expects everyone to run to her aid. And that's like a narcissistic personality disorder.
Exactly. She started putting herself in a position of being crucified and persecuted. And then she even went to the extent of talking about her homeless donation or whatever she's setting up for homeless stuff.
Yeah, why did she say it over and over again?
Pity party.
But you know what? I'm not going to, because I could go on and on about it. Someone else had pulled up a video of her with Faison Love, I guess. I don't know if you guys talked about that. And she was saying they were saying the hey girl thing back then. And she wasn't too concerned about going to see homeless after that video because she was falling out of her chair laughing at Kat. And the only other thing I was going to say is I don't understand these people who are saying that Kat started it, because Wanda was actually egging him on, and she prodded him. He wasn't going to even roast her. She kept on going at it, and he was the one that said, "Look, don't you remember me from Wild Out?" You know, basically saying, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah.
He did say that. He was like, "You don't want to Jones with me."
It was like we playing though. To me, it was like, "You don't remember me? We playing like we're playing."
Yeah,
like
he was trying to save her.
If we was doing that, I'd be like, "You got me."
Yeah, you know she ran out of ammo when she started calling for the DJ to shut it down and everybody else, and
she just
reaching for straw. It was over.
He had her number, and she couldn't do anything about it. He was relaxed. He was just like, "And by the way, your face is."
And I mean, and you can have a bad day.
He got her well when he said, "You can't keep your cholesterol level down. You
600.
can't calm me down."
Jeez. He said you big on the radio.
Black Lane Brian.
She should have laughed. She
Jesus.
should have just laughed. It was
Yes,
funny.
It was.
And that's why I'm saying you pour in on yourself and agree to it, and get yourself
out of there.
Take away anyone's ammunition.
Yes.
Talk about yourself. Don't get offended.
Yep.
Don't get defensive about it.
Then go home and cry.
Yes, you tell your husband as he's sitting there putting his wave cap on and trying to get his waves right so he can pull the gun together.
He literally had to put each bullet in that revolver.
I think he used latex gloves so his fingerprints wouldn't be on the bullet.
I'm
Wouldn't have
gonna
made
kill this
sense.
motherfucker. He had to that.
How dare him talk about my overweight woman?
With a wig.
Not just that, she's an angry, mean person.
What you mean her wig is
She
nappy?
is-
What you
she
mean
is
you can't
kinda-
run your fingers?
She
have
does
you
that to
worn
everybody.
Have
She
you
does.
worn wigs?
She does.
They will make you angry.
You spend a lot of time up there, right?
I spent a lot of time up there, and her
extensive
demeanor
wig collection.
is
Better than man.
yeah.
I don't speak. I don't.
You can't look like that and think you're better than men.
Yes, she can.
Well, I mean,
Can you?
if you have,
She has
The
to.
last thing I was going to say,
Oh, she's
guys,
still
because
on.
I like watching you, I can't really hear you because you're on the phone, is Wanda, her demeanor changed and everything.
Yep.
Oh, damn, my mind went blank. But anyways, it was a crazy situation.
Yeah,
And congratulations on your show, Bo. You guys are great. I'm going to tune in so I can see you because I can't hear you on the phone.
You're great.
okay, thank you, darling,
Thanks,
for calling
Racine.
in. I appreciate you.
Thank
Okay, you guys have a great night.
Okay,
All
you
right,
too.
Thanks.
But yeah, I mean, and it kind of feels like we have beaten it into the ground right now because
It is
and
to
I
be beaten.
feel, and when she talked about narcissism, and the thing about narcissism that I've learned is that they are constantly blaming other people for their own situation, for the choices that they made, for the predicament that they're in. They never want to take responsibility or accountability for their own actions. They just believe that they're the victim all the time.
All the
Have
time.
you ever dated or been in a personal relationship with a narcissist?
Have I?
Bo's a
Yes. Oh,
narcissist.
yeah. No, but Bo can laugh at himself. Bo laughs at himself completely. I mean, on a regular basis, I
talking
laugh
to third
on
person
myself.
right now?
Yes, and I'm easy to laugh at because I don't
True, very
claim
true.
to have anything
He has a
together.
rough exterior, but there's a kindness to him.
Yes.
Don't,
Yeah.
It
don't.
takes like two shots.
He
to
cries in the dark. Yeah, he cries
Just a
in the
little
dark.
red,
Yeah.
and he
And
becomes
in the
calm.
light. I don't.
Don't discriminate about the
Right.
time of day when these tears
But what
come.
about being in a relationship with a narcissist? What are you going to say?
Oh, I was with a narcissist, and
The one with the dogs? Your last?
no, she really was. She had some selfishness, but I was with a woman that's a narcissist, and I didn't realize it till after the fact. They call that the gaslighting and shit, where they make you think you crazy for something like you just called me a piece of shit. No, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about. You know that shit.
Oh, wow.
But there's a coldness to them, and it comes out every once in a while. There was one time I was in the hospital. I had surgery, and I've only been in the hospital one time, and I had surgery on my face. And her mother brought her up to see me in the hospital, and they were looking at me in the cold. She looked at me like, "What's the fuck? Get the fuck up out the bed! Like, what's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
No sympathy,
I was
no
looking at it
empathy.
like there's no kindness in her eyes. Like it was she looked like you want to kill her, somebody that's taking somebody's life.
Why you look at me
That
like
sounds
that?
like a
I'm just saying, you're
sociopath.
from
though.
LA. I mean, you know that look they have. It's like a glazed,
yeah.
great white shark look. It's like
The
oh,
1,000-mile
shit.
stare, just
It's-
nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Nothing
And
there.
I
That
was
doesn't
like,
sound like
bitch,
narcissism.
punk,
That sounds like
pussy ass, mind you.
sociopathy.
It's
Like
just
she's
your
a
eye.
sociopath.
I think it's
You
to
laying here like it's your
her.
whole body. It's your eye.
Okay, not to cut you off. I feel you that they're very unsympathetic as
She was probably gonna
on
kill
the
you.
levels. But we have another caller on the line, so we're gonna bring that caller on right now. Caller, what's your name? Where you at? Hello, are you there?
Hola.
Speak them words. Okay, I guess.
Caller.
While David figures out this situation. Okay, well, caller, are you there?
Caller.
Yeah, I'm here, but I can't really hear y'all.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us? Oh, Jesus.
Put the phone up to your ear.
Everybody, Mars heard us on that one.
Put the phone to your mouth.
All right, how about I just hang up and try again?
That's Wanda Smith.
That's this one.
She says she can't hear. So I'm not sure. I mean, she has to be able to hear us in order for the caller to call to go
Some
through.
people don't know how phones work. It's okay.
And she's
Okay,
out of
she
here.
called. I guess she'll come
She's
back.
gonna try again.
So okay, but yeah, narcissism is no joke. And the thing, and I was with a narcissist, and she was an extreme narcissist, and she would tell me about her situations of being. Did it call back? No, okay. And she would tell me about her situation about being raped, which was kind of shocking because it was brought on early on. I mean, as far as her telling me about it, and I was crazy about it too. She was real cool, but anytime someone brings out that type of level of information early on,
It's me. It's a me thing.
yeah, it's almost like there's not a point where they don't see how their actions brought on that scenario. And I'm not saying anybody should be raped. Of course not. I don't condone any of that. In no means no, yes, of course. But what was transpired before that? Because if you're leading on somebody all the way up to being naked in their bed, and then right before then you're going to say no, but yet give the impression that you want it, and then claim that you were raped afterwards. How many men are in jail? How many people, how many dudes have suffered from false accusations?
Well, I've just seen one recently where they finally sent one to jail. I mean, she didn't get long, but.
Oh, the one that accused the two men
Right.
of
She
rape.
finally said that she's rolling her eyes. She can give a shit.
They gave
in
her
the
a
courtroom.
year.
They gave her a year. They can't go back to college. They can't get the scholarships. They can't play football, even though it's been found that they're
Innocent. Yeah, or falsely accused, and it just seems like I understand the Me Too movement. I understand why it needs to be said. It needs to be brought to the forefront. I understand it all, but it is not a one-way street. It is not. Men are just monsters all the time. Men are just animals, and they can't. Yeah,
Most
you
of the
can
time.
wear all you want,
Not all the
and
time.
you can say you can even say most of the time. But there is a scenario where you have to understand that women are just as accountable for what happens to them.
Oh, I agree.
So
But I
to
feel like
claim
women take
victim
more
is
accountability than men do.
and to go back to what is even said on this radio show with Wanda and Kat, it's claiming victim that needs to stop. There needs to be an accountability. There needs to be an acknowledgement that, you know what, I did bring on this horse shit that happened to me. Okay, we got another caller on the line, or maybe it's the same caller, and maybe we can actually do. Okay, will they be able to hear themselves this time? All right, let's try it. All right, caller, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Who is this? Where are you calling from?
I can't understand you, but I'm.
You can't hear me right now?
Hello.
Oh, can you hear us, caller? What's your name and where are you calling from?
What's your name?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
My name is Motley.
Huh? You say yeah? Oh, Jesus.
For one hit of you.
Okay. All right. Well.
Thank
well,
you,
we
Metro
had-
PCS.
Yeah.
Thanks for trying. Thank you for trying, though.
Thank you for trying to call in and give you 2 cents. I appreciate it.
Text it to us.
But back to what we were saying about narcissism and narcissists.
Trump.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
he would definitely be, not to get political. Like I definitely don't want to get into politics.
Let's go back to what you were talking about. You're saying that women are accountable for the things that happen. So let's get back into that.
Sometimes.
Because it's not always a scenario where women are out jogging and they're just, minding their own business. I mean, most rapes come from date rapes.
Okay.
And most women allow the dude to come into their space. And based on statistics, they open themselves up to be taken advantage of. And I'm not saying that it should go down that way. I'm saying it does go down that way because women are not being more accountable for their actions.
They need to take care in taking care of themselves and protecting themselves.
Absolutely.
So men shouldn't control themselves?
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm
Okay.
saying men should be accountable for their actions, but men are usually going to jail because of this stuff. But women are not going to jail. They're not being led to believe that what they did in the scenario is what led to the outcome.
I agree with you, but I think that there's a certain amount of naivete when it comes to women as far as how we're educated and what we're taught to believe about men, especially the increasing numbers of women being raised by single mothers. Because traditionally, if you have a man and a woman in the household, there is an example of how you interact with a man within that relationship. You have a mother and the father, and the mother does certain things with her husband, but when there's no husband there, all you see is your mother doing whatever's necessary to attract a man and try and lure him in. So when you go out into the world and you're trying to, get into a relationship, you're acting like your mother in attract a man mode, not your mother in I'm a good wife and mother mode. And I think a lot of women don't know how to make that transition because they've never seen an example of that. And they were also not taught by their fathers, who may not be around, hey, there are certain things you don't do with a man because a man is going to take this as an opportunity. Whatever little leeway you give him, he's going to take as an opportunity to get what he wants from the situation. So a lot of women aren't being taught, you don't go into a man's room, you don't lay in a man's bed unless you have intentions. So these women are really thinking that whatever this man's telling them is honest and true and legit. So he's like, no, it's cool. We could just hang out and watch Netflix. We can lay on the bed. I'm not going to do anything. No, I trust you. I respect you, whatever. And then you're laying in the bed thinking nothing's going to happen. And then let me put the tip in.
Oh, it's the dick in there.
And you're like, just the tip?
I wasn't expecting that.
But, so, there's a certain amount of information that's not being transferred to young women because their fathers, who would typically give them that, are not doing that. And the men that they are exposed to are doing the other thing where they're just trying to find a way to get in their mom's pants. So they're always just seeing an example of somebody trying to attract a sexual situation to them. And that's
and the thing, I've been with
how many partners?
Are we doing numbers?
No. I mean,
you left it open.
I can't.
Come on, Wilt. Give us the number, Wilt.
But I've been with a few women who have talked about rape fantasies. And they've expressed to me how
the white woman?
I could do that.
No, actually, none of them.
Well, we know we don't. But yeah, okay, go ahead.
You fucking with me. But they have expressed to me how they and the one was also the one that had been through being raped, and she said it's not the same thing.
I didn't want him to stop.
She was saying that rape is actually horrible.
Right.
But she said the fantasy is actually being dominated.
Right.
By a man or being taken.
Who is this?
Well, then I think it would be a little bit different than from. It wouldn't be rape then. Like if you like it and you setting it up as a.
We'll talk after the show.
It's not real rape. It's like false rape.
Well, that's why it's a fantasy.
I mean, that's why it's a fantasy, which is what I'm saying.
Because I'm going to let your neck go. You know what I mean?
But if you hear that enough times,
right. Pineapples. Okay, I'll let go.
Okay, cold word.
Right.
You know what?
But safe word.
No, and I'm saying
fried rice.
But the point is that if you hear that enough times from a number of different women, then you start to think yourself that what she really wants is for me to be
Is
dominant.
Right. Right.
It was the meat. She wants the meat. Regardless of what she says, she really wants the meat. But I mean, I can't take it upon myself. I've never been one of them dudes like, I don't give a fuck what you say, you getting this shit. I ain't that's not me. It's not me.
Sex tonight.
It's not
Give me the
me.
nappy
I
duck.
couldn't do
Hopefully it's two.
No, she has to want me just as much as I want her, and if it doesn't happen,
That's how the
the
machine's
deranged
supposed
eyes.
to work.
You did the deranged eyes. You like getting this shit.
oh, you gonna take this? Here, does it smell like chloroform?
What's crazy?
Cosby.
Give me the nappy. Give me the nappy dugout.
No,
There's some
See,
women-
I can't do that.
There's some women who've been abused from young, like young, 5, 6, and 7 years old,
Right.
and then they become older and they're also assaulted again and again and again because I think there's 2 reasons. One,
One, they think it's the norm.
and they attract that energy.
Yeah.
And there's somebody that I know, we all know, and she told me about what happened to her.
We all know.
Yeah, we all know her. But
You tell us
I'm not
all
gonna
that.
say who it is. of
Okay.
course.
Right.
But she
You've been
confided
name
in me.
dropping all day, man. You
Yeah, I'm not gonna do this.
You know.
I don't
Okay.
give a fuck. What they gonna
Okay.
do to me? I'm just a little.
All right.
But she was saying that she got raped by this guy, and she ended up dating him for 6 months because she was so confused and fucked up because of the assaults she's had from the time she was young.
That's deep.
Yeah, that is deep. But I want to
She
go
said
back
she
to what
literally-
you said about
That's
responsibility,
deep. Wow.
because and being a victim. Because what I've come to understand about those kinds of situations is when you're in victim mode, then you keep attracting victimization.
Wanda.
And it's only by taking responsibility for whatever role you played in something that you actually empower yourself to not end up in that situation again. And a lot of people have trouble with the idea of taking responsibility for rape because they feel like if they take any level of responsibility, that means they wanted it. Right. And taking responsibility for the part you played in it does not necessarily translate to you wanting it. So the way attraction works is you attract whatever your mind focuses on. So you can attract what your fears. You focus on your fears, you're going to attract your fears. You focus on your desires, you're going to attract your desire. So a lot of people have like this fear of being raped or being molested, and then they attract that to them. And then when it happens, they're like, oh my God, I didn't want this, I'm the victim.
Right.
And then they keep attracting it because they still have that fear. They're still focused on what happened. They're still focused on being the victim, and they keep continuing to attract this same situation over and over again. And then it's like, why me? Why does this always happen to me? Well, because you keep saying this always happens to me.
Right.
So you have to, at a certain point, say, I attracted this to me just because I had a fear of it. I take responsibility for the fact that I drew this to me through my fear. I'm going to let go of that fear, and this is not going to happen to me again. And then by taking that level of responsibility, you empower yourself to no longer be the victim, but the now creator of this new reality in your life.
Well, I said there was a
Well said.
There was a video I did about narcissists and manipulation a while back, earlier this year, where I talk about they're victims, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to stay in victim mode.
Right.
You know, because being a victim, we've all been victimized at some point in time, but the mentality of staying in victim mode is constantly blaming somebody or something else, instead of recognizing that you've been victimized and you're now a survivor, instead of continuously putting out the energy. So I agree with what you're saying, and to go back with what you were saying about the female being raped and then she got into the relationship. The same scenario happened with the one I was talking about, where she stayed in it, and she even got to a point where she was telling, and I don't know why the fuck now I'm saying it, I don't know why I stayed with her, but she got to a point where she would tell this
I know
dude.
why you stayed with her.
You love it.
No, it actually
Can
was
we play
not.
that again?
It was not like I got that shit on a regular basis, because she was fucked up mentally.
Yeah, that's not what
There
I was thinking, but go ahead.
Like attracts like.
But there was plenty of, I honestly think that she wanted me to rape her. I
Right.
think because she put herself in a lot of scenarios where she wanted me to take
Were you
advantage.
giving off rapey energy?
No, I'm not that
Some little
dude.
bit.
I mean, I'll clown her.
Oh,
I
yeah.
clowned
Some
her
people are just-
before I.
Some
before
people
I-
just fucked
yes.
up, man.
Some people just like to get a hole
They
away.
don't know what
It's crazy.
But she was
Did
talking
you say they
about.
like to give the whole
They
away?
just like to get a hole away, and it's like,
she said like the hole.
But she told me about one of her other relationships where the dude would rape her, And she got to a point where she didn't want to get pregnant, so she allowed him to give anal on a regular basis.
Even though she didn't. Oh,
And it was like, and as I was hearing this, like, how the fuck are you in a relationship? But she chose to be in this relationship with
So
this
the
dude.
moral of the story is, if you want a rape-like situation, contact Bo Micadelic at.
I can point you in different directions. I don't know why would I know? I don't know. I'm not that
Clearly
dude.
are attracting these rape.
I'm sure there's a
rape fantasy.
rape.com.
He stated he
rape
has a
mates
list. He
You're
has a
attracting
list.
rape fantasy.
He's checking
No.
it twice.
Narcissistic
But-
people seek out certain types of personalities
Yes.
because a person like them, they're not going to be able to draw the same emotion and get that stuff from them. So they seek out kind-hearted people, people that are going to. They're not going.
Empaths.
They're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're gonna. They're not going to they're not going to be with somebody who's not going to give them what they need. So.
Exactly.
And
And
there's-
they'll definitely blame them.
And
blame them
men
for
are also
whatever.
sexually assaulted too.
That's
happens.
true. It has happened.
Well, I got a sexual. I had abs at one point, and someone actually. No bullshit.
Yeah.
I am not lying. Back when I had abs,
Bruh.
I had fucking abs.
Define abs.
I don't know who you're trying to convince on this motherfucking show.
I ain't got a lot of nobody.
He just
All you gotta do
lost
is go
all
through-
credibility.
All you gotta do is go
across the
through
board.
Facebook pictures on my Facebook page. No, real talk though. Seriously though, she put something in my drink.
Your frame never had.
Oh,
abs.
she tried to Bill Cosby.
She Bill Cosby me.
Wow.
We went back
word?
to my house. I was fucked up. I didn't know what was going on, and
Was she trying to get pregnant?
I don't know. I just know she was like,
Were you
I was.
trying to get pregnant?
Hell fucking no. I was like, get off
What
me,
is
get
she-
off me. And I woke up and we had sex already. And she put her clothes on and
Jesus.
left.
Jesus.
This was back in like, early like 1999 too. I never told
So she
nobody.
had sex with your
Was
left
that the
body.
last time you saw her?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
She was like, I don't remember. So can we have a replay?
Maybe it was
Or-
that-
should have
Rewind, select knob.
I was like, should I feel bad about this shit?
Is,
Like,
that, is that why you got rid of the abs?
No, you should.
so nobody else would touch me again?
These abs attract rapists.
No, that was
I wanted so much I can't even remember
That
the
was
moments. I got
20 years
to-
of sales jobs to do that, to take your abs away. But yeah, she
Taco Bell.
don't eat Taco Bell, motherfucker. No more. But yeah, that actually did happen. And you know what's funny? I thought about it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, wow, that was. She put something in my drink. I felt woozy. We went back to my house, and I was like, I couldn't keep a thought in my head. I don't know what the fuck it was, bro.
You got roofied like a
I
motherfucker.
got roofed.
So you really
I
had a
know,
connection to
I've
that
had
Cosby
I know.
case.
I've had-
Happened to my
I've
cousin
had
when we was
that
in
stuff
Miami.
before.
This girl put something in his drink.
Happened to me. Happens to.
What is it with
Maybe
women?
it
happened
Why
to
are
me.
women so brutal?
I don't know. Like, I have no idea.
I swear to
Like,
God.
Look at both the
Philly,
women
you
like,
tell us.
why are
I'm
you
not
guys
brutal.
so...
So what had happened was,
Because my mama always said, don't leave your drinks with nobody. I don't care if
Right.
that's your best friend. I don't care how long you gotta go to the bathroom. Either
Take
throw
it
your
with
drink
you.
away or take it with you. And I don't play that.
Right.
And
Fair
I don't
enough.
drink from nobody.
It
either.
happens, but you know, I mean, and that was some crazy shit, and I was young. But I mean, there's also men that are sexually assaulted when they're young, and they grow up and
Become the
Manifest and
predator.
become the-
Yep, they
Become
become the
predators.
assaulter.
Yeah.
hurt people hurt people.
Absolutely.
Well,
And,
That's true.
I don't mean to hurt you guys by going to a commercial real quick, but we will be going to a commercial offhand right now. Thank you. All right, we'll be right back.
Oof.
that was deep.
Thank you.
I put my feelings on safety, so I don't go shooting where your heart be. Cause you take the bullet trying to save me, then I'm left to deal with making you bleed. And that's a whole lot of love, ain't trying to waste it. Like we be running them out and never make it. That's just too bitter for words, don't wanna taste it. That's just too bitter for words, don't wanna face it. But I think that I'm done tripping, I've been sipping, that's how I control this feeling you keep giving, you keep on hitting it, ooh, oh. Maybe it's your love, it's too good to be true. Baby boy, your love got me tripping on you. You know your love is big enough, made me trip up on you. Yeah, it's big enough, got me tripping on you. Tripping on you. My bad for tripping on you. Tripping on you. My bad for tripping on you. Tripping on you. Boy, you know you cool when now you waiting, but I act a fool when I don't get it. And I'm steady bruising just to save this. But I tripped on your love, now I'm addicted. And that's a whole lot of love, ain't tryna waste it. Like we be running them out and never make it. That's just too bitter for words, don't wanna taste it. That's just too bitter for words, don't wanna face it. But I think that I'm done tripping, I'm tripping. I've been sipping, that's how I control this feeling you keep giving, you keep on hitting it. Ooh, oh. Maybe it's your love, it's too good to be true. Baby boy, your love got me tripping on you. You know your love is big enough, made me trip on you. Yeah, it's big enough, got me tripping on you. Tripping on you. My bad for tripping on you. Tripping on you. My bad for tripping on you. Tripping on you. There's some kind of love, baby. Drip. There's the type of love, maybe. Tripping on you. It's big enough, maybe. Drip. It's big enough, got me. Tripping on you. I'm done tripping, I'm tripping. I've been sipping, that's how I control this feeling you keep giving, you keep on hitting it. Ooh, oh. Maybe it's your love, it's too good to be true. Baby boy, your love got me tripping on you. You know your love is big enough, made me trip on you. Yeah, it's big enough, got me tripping on you. Tripping on you. My bad for tripping on you. Tripping on you. Yeah. My bad for tripping on you. Tripping on you. My bad for
All right, good people. This is Bo Micadelic from Micadelic Mindset. And before we get out of here, I did want to thank my guests today, Felix Jordan, Alicia Jordan Style. Well, he's got 12 different names. I was going to get one of them right. Alicia Coley, Dwayne Jackson, and Christy Gaynell. Now, I mean, before we go, I want each one of you guys to say something before we leave. So, yes, by all means, speak words.
Comedian Jordan Styles. You can check me out at Instagram, Jordan Styles 80. Felix Jordan on the Facebook. Appreciate y'all for listening. Keep on listening to IBNX Radio and just keep supporting, man. Support comedy, support both. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, well, this is Alicia Coley. I am also a comedian, and I have a show coming up on Saturday in Augusta, Georgia at Icons Sports Bar. So I need y'all to be in the building, bunch of funny in the building.
Facts.
Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram at Alicia Coley, ALISHACOLEY. That's on all social media sites, and continue to support Bo's Micadelic Mindset Radio Show.
I am Dwayne Jackson, and I think I'm pretty funny. I've been known to color code so. You can follow me on Instagram if you want. I'm not gonna look at that shit. But Facebook, I don't know. I'm stuck at 4950 in friends, and it just no matter how many people I friend, it doesn't move. So I think I can get an unlimited friend. So if you find me, evidently somebody told me the pic of me looks cuter in the picture than I do in person.
Damn.
Which is perfectly fine. I'm a 43-year-old man. That doesn't bother me.
He is a comedian.
Yeah, check me out, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Crystal?
And I am Christy Gaynell. And actually, some of the things that we talked about on the show with regard to like how to deal with like rape and victimization, a lot of that information, if you want more of it, you can find it in my book, Condoms Are Cheaper Than Child Support. You can get it on Amazon. There's a few chapters that deal with those things specifically, including like how to handle situations as a female so that you don't end up in those situations. There's an entire chapter dedicated to that. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, anywhere, Christy Gaynell. That's Christ Y Gaynell. And shout out to IBNX Radio. Keep listening to the Micadelic Mindset.
Yes,
clap it up for Bo. Everybody clap.
Hey. Oh, look at you. And you can see why these are some of my favorite people in the world.
Quick question, though.
Because I
do you do audiobook?
I'm working on doing an audiobook right now because a few people have asked for the audio version.
I love audiobooks.
Yeah,
He's trying to give us a compliment. He don't give out compliments. Let him finish.
That's why I wasn't used to it. I didn't know
what the fuck it was, right?
What was going on. Sorry,
y'all motherfuckers are welcome for being on my show.
Thank you.
Welcome for being as late as goddamn you were. You're welcome for being in my presence.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us, man.
No, I do appreciate you guys coming through. It means a lot. And I think we got to, the bottom of the whole scenario with that bullshit. that went down.
Definitely something to talk about.
In conclusion, can we all just agree? Fuck Wanda Smith. Can we just agree?
Can we say it?
As a
Can we say that?
group? One, two, three.
Fuck Wanda
Smith.
And your wig.
I didn't even want to say her name.
and your wig.
Take that roasting like a man and shut the fuck up with your.
Find different Asians to get your
Your
wig.
conscience.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you
I'm gonna be a
guys.
little more high pitched.
I'm your conscience.
Learn how to cook something more than just steamed broccoli.
Nah, she
might. How you get that big only cooking broccoli?
No,
She ain't eating broccoli
didn't
much.
bullshit. She didn't talk about all them stops at McDonald's or
Right.
Thumbs up.
fucking
And I have nothing against
Chick-fil-A and all that
Getting
shit.
wild and out.
You just gotta give it.
Yeah, she didn't say none of that. But
Ain't much broccoli is up in there.
he said you're big on the radio.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was funny. I would have
I
laughed.
appreciate
The
it.
headphone, the wig
All right.
came with the headphone.
Yeah, that was.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you. We appreciate you. Tune in next week, next Monday, where we're going to do the same type of shit where I'm just going to irritate most of you out there.
Bo Micadelic.
Bo Micadelic, Micadelic Mindset. Appreciate you.
But you know that's not right. While you're sweating, babe. No, 'cause I can't give you my life. No. It's your fault for loving me. You put your trust in me. Not enough. I ain't signed up for nothing like that. I'm just doing me, I was coming right back. Why you left me alone? Yes, you know I was coming home. Yes, you know I've been out here working 9 to 5 lately. And baby gets on my fucking nerves about the same shit. We don't speak the same language. We don't speak the same language. We don't speak the same language. You want me to call your phone and tell you I'm blown, that there ain't no us no more. No, girl, ain't nobody ever gonna do you like me. Learn how to stand on your own 2 feet alone. It's your fault for loving me. You put your trust in me. Not enough. I ain't signed off on nothing like that. You wouldn't treat me cold, I'ma dish you right back. Why you left me alone? Yes, you know I was coming home. Yes, you know I've been out here working 9 to 5 lately. And baby gets on my fucking nerves about the same shit. We don't speak the same language. We don't speak the same language. We don't speak the same language. We don't speak the same language.
IBNX Radio.